I'm just back from the cinema where I went to see Knives Out on opening night. It's a murder mystery in which the patriarch of a family, a very successful mystery writer, is murdered on his 85th birthday. In fact, it appears to have been suicide, but foul play is suspected, and the police and the great detective Benoit Blanc are summoned to investigate the crime. And what emerges as the family tears itself apart is a web of intrigue and mystery and double-crossing and double-dealing and all sorts of other things. I'm going to avoid giving out spoilers because I cannot recommend highly enough that you watch the film knowing nothing about the story. I've told you everything you need to know. There's nothing there that you wouldn't have got from the trailer. But it's great. I loved it. I've always enjoyed Columbo, which is a very American take on British murder mysteries. Columbo is very much in the vein of classic detectives, rather than it being a cop show. And this feels of a piece with that, where you have the cast of wealthy characters, you have the idiosyncratic detective, played by Daniel Craig with a fantastically over-the-top southern accent. You have little bits of evidence here and there that all point in different directions and add up to one complete story. But you also have a great deal of subtlety and intelligence scattered throughout the movie. The lead character is not who you'd think the lead character was. It's someone quite different. And the twists and turns of the film are such that at some point it seems to leave traditional genre storylines behind entirely in favour of being a completely different story. But everything, again, coheres very neatly at the end. It's written and directed by Rian Johnson, who's best known for Star Wars The Last Jedi, hugely divisive. With this movie there has been unanimous praise and delight. I have not seen a bad review of it. And it's like a Swiss watch. It is so intricate, every line corresponds to something else, character details, costuming is sort of illustrative of character, the design is wonderful, but it's a beautifully honed script. The acting is perfect, and it's a real murder as well. You have Daniel Craig, Jamie Lee Curtis, Chris Evans, Christopher Plummer, Michael Shannon, Don Johnson, Ana de Armas, Toni Collette, a cameo by Frank Oz, and a tiny, tiny cameo for Joseph Gordon-Levitt, star of Johnson's previous films, Brick and Looper. If you saw Looper, which did the same sort of thing with a time travel story, then I think you'll enjoy this, because it's the same kind of very clever, complex, but beautifully assembled story. This is very different in tone. It's a mystery. It's very, very funny. It's a full-on comedy for the most part. It's in suspense because the comedy wouldn't exist without the suspense, but you could have it the other way around. But overall, I'm sad that I can't say too much. It has a terrific cast, brilliantly acted. It's the kind of film maybe that I need some time to process. I need to think it all through. In fact, after I got home, I read through the Wikipedia synopsis just to settle everything in my mind. And I had got everything. It's just there's so much, and it's such a mechanism. I need time to just sit back and marvel at the beauty of its industry. But it's definitely a crossover, I think. It's a mainstream, relatively big budget entertainment. I think it will get fantastic critical notices. It deserves to get awards traction. It's definitely one of the best films I've seen this year. I cannot recommend it highly enough. I absolutely loved it. It's smart, it's got subtext, it comments about politics, it has satirical elements, it has character elements. It's such a perfectly whipped confection, and yet with so much substance at the same time. It's terrific.